The open house started at 11 a.m. on a Saturday in late August. I knew the exact time because my sister Ashley had posted it on every real estate platform she could find. Zillow, Realtor.com, Facebook Marketplace, even Craigslist. Urgent sale. Oceanfront property. Owner must liquidate. $750,000 cash only. Today only. I was watching from my car, parked 3 blocks down Ocean Vista Drive in Malibu, California. The house, my house, sat at the end of a private cul-de-sac with direct beach access, floor-to-ceiling windows facing the Pacific, and a market value around $3.2 million. Ashley had priced it at less than a quarter of its worth, and the desperation in her listing had attracted exactly the kind of buyer she wanted. Cash investors looking for distressed properties. 15 cars were parked along the street by 11:15 a.m. I recognized one of them, my mother's white Lexus. Another belonged to my cousin Derek. Ashley had made this a family event. I sat in my Honda Civic, laptop open on the passenger seat, watching security camera feeds from inside the house. I'd installed the system myself 2 years ago, linked to my phone and computer. Ashley didn't know they existed because she had never actually been inside this house before today. The cameras showed her giving a tour to a middle-aged couple in business casual. The owner, my sister Sarah, got in over her head. Ashley was speaking. Her voice picked up clearly by the microphone in the living room. She bought this place at the peak of the market, couldn't keep up with payments, and the bank is about to foreclose. She's desperate to avoid the credit hit, so she's accepting the first cash offer today. None of that was true. I'd bought the house 18 months ago, paid in full, no mortgage. But Ashley had discovered the property tax records, public information in California, and apparently decided that owning a $3.2 million beach house meant I was either in financial trouble or stupid enough to let her handle my crisis. Mom appeared on camera, walking through with a notebook and measuring tape. She was cataloging furniture. "The couch needs to go," she said to someone off-screen. "But the dining table is good quality. We can move it to my place." Derek was in the kitchen, opening cabinets. "Does the dishwasher come with the house? What about the wine fridge?" Ashley addressed the growing crowd in the living room, maybe 20 people now, some taking photos, others examining crown molding and testing light switches. "I'm accepting offers until 1 p.m. today. All cash as is. Close in 30 days. My sister signed a power of attorney last month when she realized she couldn't handle this anymore. She held up a document from 3 blocks away. Even zooming in on my laptop, I couldn't see the details, but I knew it was fake. I'd never signed power of attorney to anyone, let alone to Ashley, who I'd spoken to maybe twice in the past 5 years. A man in an expensive suit raised his hand. "What about the HOA? This is Riviera del Sol, correct? That's one of the strictest associations in Malibu." "HOA is current," Ashley said smoothly. "All fees paid through the end of the year. New owner just takes over the standard membership." That was interesting. Ashley had done at least some research. Riviera del Sol did have an HOA, one of the most exclusive in Southern California. What she apparently hadn't researched was what type of membership I had. I checked my watch. 11:47 a.m. I sent a text message to a contact saved in my phone as Margaret Chin Cho. The message read, "Unauthorized open house at my property, 847 Ocean Vista Drive. Sister is attempting to sell my house without authorization. Please respond with police." The reply came in 40 seconds. "On my way. Stay put." Margaret Chin was the Riviera del Sol HOA president, a 71-year-old retired attorney who ran the association with the efficiency of a federal judge and the ruthlessness of a mafia don. I'd met her 18 months ago when I'd first purchased the property, and we developed a friendship based on mutual respect for rules, documentation, and extremely detailed contracts. On my laptop, the open house continued. A younger couple was making an offer. $720,000 cash, close in 2 weeks. Ashley was nodding enthusiastically. Another investor was countering at $740,000. Mom had moved upstairs, going through bedroom closets. "Sarah always had terrible taste," she said to Derek, who'd followed her up. "We'll have to repaint everything, and these curtains are hideous. Do you think she'll actually split the money with us?" Derek asked. "Ashley promised me 20%. Mom said she needs the cash to cover her legal fees from that DUI. And you're getting something too, right? $50,000, Derek confirmed. Ashley said. Sarah owes me for that loan from 2019. I'd never borrowed money from Derek in my life. In fact, Derek had borrowed $3,000 from me in 2019 and never paid it back. But apparently, in this revisionist history, I was the indebted party. At 12:14 p.m., a silver Mercedes pulled up to the house. Margaret Chin emerged, dressed in a crisp white blouse and navy pants, carrying a leather portfolio. Behind her, a Malibu police cruiser parked at the curb. I closed my laptop and walked toward the house. Inside, Ashley was accepting what looked like a signed purchase offer from the man in the expensive suit. Congratulations, she was saying. You just bought an incredible property at an incredible price. The front door opened. Margaret walked in first, followed by two police officers. Excuse me, Margaret said, her voice cutting through the room like a knife. This open house is unauthorized and illegal. Everyone needs to leave immediately. The crowd went silent. Ashley's face cycled through confusion, then recognition, then panic. Who are you? Ashley demanded, trying to recover her authority. Margaret Chin, president of Riviera del Sol Homeowners Association. She held up her portfolio. This property at 847 Ocean Vista Drive is not for sale. The legal owner, Sarah Morrison, did not authorize this showing, did not sign listing documents, and did not grant anyone power of attorney. That's not true, Ashley said quickly. I have documentation. You have fraudulent documentation, Margaret interrupted. I've known Sarah Morrison for 18 months. She purchased this property in February of last year, paid in full, and 6 weeks ago upgraded to Platinum Lifetime HOA membership at a cost of $180,000. The room rippled with murmurs. Platinum membership was legendary in Riviera del Sol. Only 12 properties held it, requiring a one-time payment that guaranteed beach access, eliminated monthly HOA fees forever, and provided certain governance privileges. Sarah would never spend that much, Ashley said, but her voice had lost its confidence. She spent exactly that much, Margaret said. She pulled out a document, paid by wire transfer on July 12th, which means this property is not in financial distress, not in foreclosure, and not available for purchase through your fraudulent listing. I walked through the front door at that moment. 25 sets of eyes turned toward me. Hi, Ashley, I said quietly. Thanks for hosting an open house at my property without permission. My sister's face went pale. Sarah, I was just trying to help. Help by selling my house for a quarter of its value? I asked. Help by forging power of attorney documents? Help by promising Mom and Derek portions of money from a sale you're not authorized to make? One of the police officers stepped forward. Ma'am, are you Sarah Morrison, the owner of this property? I am. I pulled out my driver's license, then my phone, showing the property tax records with my name, the title insurance documents, and the HOA Platinum membership certificate Margaret had mentioned. And did you authorize this sale, or give anyone permission to list this property? I did not. The officer turned to Ashley. Ma'am, I need to see your documentation claiming authority to sell this property. Ashley fumbled with her folder, pulled out papers. The officer examined them, then handed them to Margaret, who scrutinized them like someone who'd spent 40 years reading legal documents. These are forgeries, Margaret said flatly. The notary stamp is fake. Wrong county, wrong date format. The signature purporting to be Sarah's doesn't match her signature on file with our HOA. And the power of attorney form itself is a generic template that hasn't been properly executed. She looked at the police officer. This is fraud, trespassing, and attempted theft by deception. Ashley's lawyer instincts, she'd gone to law school but never passed the bar, kicked in. This is a family matter. Sarah's my sister. I was trying to help her avoid financial disaster. By selling my house without my knowledge, I interrupted. By lying to buyers about foreclosure. By promising family members portions of money you'd be stealing from me. Mom appeared from upstairs, Derek behind her. She saw the police and stopped halfway down the staircase. Sarah. Mom's voice took on that wounded quality I'd heard my entire life. Why are you doing this? She was trying to help. You're always so secretive about your finances. We thought you were in trouble. You thought I was in trouble, I said, keeping my voice level. So you decided to sell my house without asking me. We tried to call you, Ashley said desperately. You never answer. You're always so distant from the family. I answered your call 2 weeks ago, I said. You asked how I was doing. I said fine. You said great, and hung up. At no point did you mention concerns about my finances or plans to sell my property. I turned to address the remaining open house attendees, who were watching this like a reality TV show. I apologize for wasting your time. This property is not for sale. Any offers you made are void. If you signed any documents with this woman, they're worthless. The crowd began to disperse, some quickly, others lingering to watch the drama. The man in the expensive suit stopped near me. If you ever do decide to sell, I'd be genuinely interested. But through legal channels, I said. I'll keep that in mind. Within 10 minutes, the house was empty except for me, Ashley, Mom, Derek, Margaret, and the 2 police officers. So what happens now? Derek asked nervously. The lead officer looked at me. Miss Morrison, do you want to press charges? I looked at Ashley. Really looked at her. 33 years old, perpetually broke, perpetually in crisis, perpetually convinced that everyone else's success was either luck or should be shared with her. Did you actually believe I was in foreclosure? I asked. Or did you just see a property in my name and decide you deserved a cut? Ashley's jaw tightened. You've always had everything so easy. Good job, good income. And now this ridiculous beach house you never even use. I use it every weekend, I interrupted. You just don't know that because you don't actually know anything about my life, because you never share anything. Ashley's voice rose. You buy a $3 million house and don't tell anyone. You're so secretive, so separate from the family. I'm separate because every time I share anything with this family, someone tries to take it, I said. I told you about my promotion 3 years ago, and you immediately asked for a loan. I mentioned I was saving for a house, and Derek suggested I invest in his cryptocurrency scheme instead. I bought this place and didn't tell anyone because I knew this exact thing would happen. You'd find a way to claim you deserved a piece of it. Mom descended the rest of the stairs. That's unfair. Family helps family. If you're doing well, you should want to lift us up. I've given you $15,000 over the past 5 years. I documented every payment, I said. Of course, I paid Ashley's legal fees for her DUI. I covered Derek's rent twice. I bought you a new refrigerator when yours broke. I've helped repeatedly. And the response is that you tried to sell my house. We thought you needed help, Mom insisted, but her voice had lost its conviction. You thought I had something valuable you could take, I corrected. There's a difference. The police officer cleared his throat. Ms. Morrison, I need to know, are you filing charges? I considered it. Fraud, trespassing, forgery. Ashley could face serious legal consequences. So could Mom and Derek as accomplices. I want them removed from the property immediately. I want a restraining order preventing them from coming within 500 feet of this address, I said. And I want it documented, all of it, in case they try this again. You're really going to do this to your own family? Ashley asked. Over a misunderstanding? A misunderstanding would be showing up unannounced, I said. This was a planned, calculated attempt to steal my property. So yes, I'm really going to do this. The officers escorted Ashley, Mom, and Derek out. Margaret stayed behind. I'm sorry you had to deal with this, she said. Thank you for responding so quickly, I replied. Platinum members look out for each other. She smiled slightly. Also, I cannot stand real estate fraud. 40 years of law practice, and it remains my least favorite crime. After she left, I walked through the house, checking for damage. They'd been careful. Nothing broken, nothing obviously stolen. But they'd gone through everything, my closets, my drawers, my private spaces. Mom's notebook, abandoned on the kitchen counter, listed furniture she planned to take. Dining table, good wood. Bedroom dresser, antique. Kitchen appliances, all wine collection split with Ashley. I threw the notebook away. Over the next week, I received 17 text messages from Ashley, ranging from apologetic. I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. Too aggressive. Too accusatory. You're destroying this family over nothing. Too manipulative. Mom is devastated. She's not eating. This is your fault. I blocked her number. Mom tried calling from different numbers. Friends' phones, office lines, even a burner phone she must have bought specifically for this. Each voicemail followed the same pattern. Start with guilt, escalate to anger, end with threats about what the family would think. I saved every voicemail, then blocked every number. Derek sent an email. I didn't know Ashley was going to do all that. I just thought we were looking at the house. Can we talk? I didn't respond. 3 months later, I received a letter from Ashley's lawyer. A real one this time. It threatened legal action for emotional distress and false allegations. The letter claimed Ashley had been acting in good faith based on a reasonable belief that I needed help. I forwarded it to my own lawyer, who sent a response detailing exactly how many laws Ashley had broken, how much documentation I had, and how quickly any lawsuit would be dismissed while generating counterclaims for fraud, trespassing, and attempted theft. We never heard from Ashley's lawyer again. 6 months after the fake open house, I was sitting on my deck watching the sunset when Margaret stopped by with wine. "How are you holding up?" she asked. "Better," I said honestly. "Quieter. Family estrangement is hard," Margaret said. "Even when it's necessary." "Did you ever have to do it?" I asked. "My brother tried to contest my mother's will," she said. "Said I'd manipulated her into leaving me more because I was the caretaker." She sipped her wine. "I hadn't manipulated anyone. I'd spent 5 years caring for our mother while he visited twice a year. The will reflected that. He sued anyway. Lost badly. We haven't spoken in 12 years. Do you regret it?" I asked. "Not even slightly," Margaret said. "Some relationships are only sustainable when one person is being taken advantage of. When you stop allowing that, the relationship ends, which tells you everything you need to know about what it really was." We sat in silence watching the waves. I still own the beach house. I still use it every weekend. I upgraded the security system, changed all the locks, and added biometric authentication to the gate. I still have the Platinum HOA membership, the one Ashley didn't know existed until it destroyed her plan. Sometimes I think about that day. About Ashley's face when Margaret announced the $180,000 membership. About Mom's notebook listing furniture she planned to steal. About Derek casually discussing how much of my money he'd been promised. I don't feel guilty anymore. I feel protected.